All right, so I think we are live here, Patrick. Thank
Hello.
you. Hello, everybody. Hopefully, this is going over to our Turkey Trot Training Challenge page. We've not ever done this on this, but I think it looks like it is. So awesome! Happy.
Technology is a wonderful thing when it works.
Really. And nowadays, I remember when we first started doing some videos like this for our business, and it was like every webcam were sold out. They were hundreds of dollars for just a little mini webcam. I walked into Staples one time, and the guy was like, you can't be serious. You don't really want one. I'm like, yeah, I really do. He's like, those are out on order until like back at that point. Those are out until June. So I think everybody had to figure out some virtual options here.
Yeah,
Happy
definitely.
Sunday night. I know I just learned from Patrick a little while ago, he is a Washington football team fan. Um,
Since I
did,
was 12 years old, and what's interesting about that is I grew up in Nevada.
oh,
At the time, I was living in Nevada, and we don't have, well, now we have the Las Vegas Raiders, I guess, but back then we didn't have any professional football teams in Nevada. So the closest one was the Oakland Raiders and the San Francisco 49ers. And I didn't want to be a San Francisco 49ers fan like everybody else, so I picked the other coast.
I love it. Well, I didn't know he grew up in Nevada.
I
That's
do.
pretty cool. How many
Nevada and
years were
North
you?
Carolina.
Wow, you've seen a lot of different areas as I'm learning here. Um, Thank you, everybody, for joining. I see we have a couple people on now. I know this has been much anticipated, not only just a challenge, but a lot of different groups of how they're going to still what format they're going to be in all year long. So we thought that we would sort of come live this way to just get some questions out. We've been getting some questions throughout the past couple of weeks as we've been gearing up for which is a really exciting time for all of us. As I've been a part of this training challenge for now 4 years. And Patrick, you've been a part of it for
Nine, I think, 8 or 9 years now.
eight. Yeah, so it's
Whatever
definitely something
edition
that's
this is.
yeah,
Since the beginning,
right, since the
basically, since the
beginning.
beginning.
So every year. And so we just wanted to come on and sort of answer a few questions that people have sent in, talk about the format, some of the changes that we've even found that there have been some changes even up until a couple of hours ago. So hopefully if anybody has any, there is a chat box that's on the side. If we don't or if we don't actually touch upon sort of something you were wondering about, feel free to just throw the question right in there and we'll definitely make sure we get to it. But we are excited to come back. We are definitely hosting and still holding this 10-week training challenge for all levels of participants for anybody in the capital region. That's what's been one of the most amazing thing is, yes, in the past it's been for the Troy Turkey Trot, but we know we would get people from Del Mar and who were still local here, but they knew they were running the Turkey Trot in Myrtle Beach. So it's something that anybody in the capital region can do this training challenge for wherever they plan to run on Thanksgiving morning. Is that correct?
That is correct. That's the great thing about this. Is initially, when it was started, it was kind of a branch of the Troy Turkey Trot. But as we grew, we wanted to make sure that no matter where you were running on Thanksgiving, and no matter where you were planning on being on Thanksgiving morning, we had a training program that could get you to the finish line of whatever turkey trot you were planning to participate in.
Yeah, and so we're just sort of starting from the top or from what this is, the Turkey Trot Training Challenge is a 10-week program which offers more than just how to run. Other elements with advanced experienced coaches giving nutritional elements, stretching advice, have pain relief management sort of techniques to sort of get to be able to still fulfill that run or that race that you plan to do at the end of the 10 weeks. We do. I learned also that this used to be just a Couch to 5K program, but now it's been progressed to a 5K to 10K training. And what's really exciting is this year, for the first year ever, we're also offering a walk, run, or power walk sort of group as well for participants who want to get out there, maybe do it with their family, and they just don't think they could ever run the full time, which in the past, that's what our Couch to 5K always got you to. So we're really excited about that new element today or this year, because in the past, some people said they just couldn't go on beyond maybe week 5. So we were trying to think as a group collectively of coaches, how can we get those folks who maybe it got a little bit difficult at that point to still make it all the way through to the 10 weeks?
Yeah, and I think Joanne is right, is who's going to
Yep.
be leading that, and she's incredible. So that's going to be a lot of fun having her kind of take that group and lead that portion of the training challenge.
Yeah, and that's we did just have a coaches meeting before this live, and we are going to sort of release. We have three returning coaches, myself and Patrick being one, as well as Jill Austin, and we have two new coaches. So we have a total of five coaches for the whole challenge to make sure we have enough people for when the runs are getting longer and people are spreading out. So we're really excited about that, and as we know, it's a progressive challenge that it grows each week and gets a little bit more challenging with the distance that we're running, the speed that we're trying to keep up with to try to improve our time and our distance, sort of to get to that end goal of doing a 5K, 10K in whatever manner you can do.
Absolutely. I think one of the great things about this program is that it really does allow for anybody, no matter what your kind of experience level is, to come and take part and be accountable and be counted on and have a great group of people to kind of undergo this challenge and this journey with, whether you've done it for 6 or 8 years or 10 years, or if you're a brand new beginner and you've never even run before. I think the thing that I like about this program a lot is that it really offers an opportunity to kind of be around a group of people that are like-minded and kind of that will hold your feet to the fire a little bit and say, "Hey, where were you last week?" You know,
Right.
uh, and so no matter where you're planning on being on Thanksgiving or what event you're hoping to participate in, there's a group of people out there that you can participate in a training group with and help to kind of get you in shape for that event and kind of have somebody to commiserate with, or they say mutual suffering, but um, mutual, I guess, kind of stepping stones as we get through the training process.
Yeah, accountability, right? It's that buzzword that's out there. I think it's
Absolutely.
the top trending, especially nowadays where, that we're being creative with everything. So I wanted to talk that we did. Thank you to everybody, past participants who took the survey that we put out there. And I wanted to just really we try to learn from you or listen to you to see how we're going to do this. Obviously, with the CDC guidelines for any sort of group activities, we have been trying to plan smartly and reduce exposure. So we have come up with, it's going to be a 1-day in-person run, which will be Saturday mornings at 8 a.m. And then the rest of the exercises will be done virtual, where the coaches will be doing a video to explain what your sort of run is for that day. So that would be 2 other times. You can join as either a in-person runner or a virtual only, because we did get a few people who said, I don't feel comfortable coming to the in-person at this time, but I would do the full virtual. So you'll still get a video for each of the 3 workouts that week to go along with the 1 email that we send out for all of the week's training. Hey, Meg, I see that this is one of the most sort of asked questions, and we can get right to that next. So where will these Saturday morning be held? And I apologize about any of the confusion ahead of time. As you can imagine, this has been one of our biggest challenges, is where we can go safely and also abide by the liability rules. Last year, we were so excited to go to Hudson Valley. We formed up this great contract. And unfortunately, they are not allowing any public use of their spaces or facility for the whole, for the first quarter, at least for this first semester. So unfortunately, we're not going to be able to go there. So our follow-up plan was to head over to RPI, as we've done in the past. And that too, we just learned at 4 o'clock today, is also closed to any public or outside people, including students. So there are barricades up, and that is 100% on us. I apologize that all of the research wasn't done ahead of time. We thought that it was open to the public, and that has also changed. So the nice thing is we had option 3 always sort of looming in the background, which we've done this in the past. Actually, just prior to Hudson Valley, we were going down to the Knickerbacker rink and the sort of track behind that, and up on the bike path right behind. That's where we were going for every year up until last year, where we went over to Hudson Valley. So it is right down on 103rd Street. We have gotten permission from the city of Troy to use that facility, which we're super thankful for. There's a ton of space. Where we normally do the warm-ups is right in front of the rink entrance, and we're able to spread out. There's large spaces to make sure that we're maintaining 6 feet of distance while we're training, and we can get into some other precautions that we're going to be making. And then after we're warmed up, we can go right to the track, and then the more distance running groups will go up to the bike path, which we've done in the past. I know, Patrick, you've sort of led most of those when you were going there for a while. If you want to touch base on that.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of a convenient location actually for that purpose, because the bike path is generally cleared. They do a good job with that, and no matter kind of what the weather is, and we're able to warm up with the rest of the group, and then the level 2 and the level 3 groups can go up onto the bike path and kind of head separate directions or go out together and get a longer run in, especially as we get more towards the back end of the program and you go longer and longer. The distances, the bike path is really well suited for that. Actually, even better so than I think some of the other locations that we've done in the past with Prospect Park and even RPI, where we were able to run like repeats of that hill a bunch, but on the bike path you can just go out and turn around at a certain point in time and come back and then do your cool down. So it's pretty conducive to what we're trying to do. So I like that. I like that venue personally. It works pretty well.
Especially once we're running the further distances, as you mentioned. And the level 1 folks, we will primarily stay on the track, the circle where the ice rink used to be. So that will be where, but once we put sort of advance in our distance as well, we can go up to the bike path. So we're still, we're super excited about that. And for any directional people who are wondering where exactly that is, instead of getting off alternate 7 and going up Hoosick Street to get to RPI, you would actually, it's actually a little quicker. You can actually get off and just head down to 103rd Street, and it's right by Lansingburg schools there. So it's not much further. If anything, it's probably a little bit closer than going up Hoosick Street. So hopefully that is okay. I know some previous runners that they've already been there. They know where we work out there. So that is good that we still have a home, because today at 4:00 I was deflated. I actually wanted to, I sort of texted Patrick the picture of a big sign out front, and I was thinking for a second, is this not, is this a sign? Should we not? So anyway, those thoughts are long gone. We're going to definitely continue on and trudge through and just make the best of it. Other questions we've had is, basically, so what are we going to do, and how is this going to be safe? Oh, Patrick just went off, but I could sort of talk to that, and I know Patrick can hop right back on. So you're doing an outdoor group workout. There are some precautions, but here you go, Patrick. Hold on.
I got lost there.
That's okay. You're back.
So what was the question?
We're going into sort of how are we going to make sure there's safety throughout these group workouts. So I was just going into that, obviously being an outdoor plan, which we've always been outdoor, and actually in the colder time, most of us have been wearing face coverings anyway, especially in the morning run. So the only thing different now is that when we are doing our dynamic warm-ups, it will be required that all participants keep their masks on, because we can still separate by 6 feet, but just with being outdoors and, say in the past we've had certain numbers of people that are a little bit higher, we want to make sure that everybody's in a mask during the dynamic warm up. And then once we break up into our 3 to 4 different groups, at that point, when you start your training, if you get distant further enough than 6 feet of distance while you're running, you can take your mask off. That's very similar to a lot of other outdoor training that has been going on. I'm sure you all see the ABC Fitness, Hit It With Brit, a lot of the different anatomy. We've all been working outside during these times, and that's sort of the same thing across the board. There'll be no different for a Tricky Trot training challenge. One of our coaches on site, she is a registered nurse. So any other specific concerns we have, we're pleased to sort of have her to make sure that everybody is feeling okay. We will have a digital thermometer if needed. But if anybody has any other questions about how we are going to maintain safety throughout, please let us know. But that's the biggest plan for this, is just wearing your face mask during the dynamic warm up and any time where you cannot be within 6 feet of each other.
Right. And if you're feeling at all, flu-like or ill or have a temperature or a bit of a cough or cold or anything else like that, we just stay home, do the workout on your own, and then come back when you're feeling better.
All right, we just got another question. So, what time is tomorrow? So, thank you, Karen, for sending this in. So, tomorrow is, so typically in the past, Mondays and Wednesday or Thursday are your other two race day or running training days in addition to Saturdays. So, on Mondays, so actually tonight I'm going to send out the email, but Mondays it will start and you can train at any time. So, when it's virtual, which is one sort of pro that we've heard from some people, like they don't have to wait till 6 to run, because sometimes it's a little bit cooler there. So you can run at any time tomorrow. You'll have the first run for whatever level you're in. We'll go over the different levels. And so that's sort of what you'll start. So Mondays, and then either Wednesdays or Thursdays, you can do your second run. And then your third run of the week will be Saturdays with the group. So you can do that at any time. I'm going to try to get the email out. There will be one email a week, which will go out Sundays for the whole week. And then the video will be done in the morning time. It's going to be done by different coaches, sort of go over just what your run is that morning and any other specific tips or things that we want to sort of put out there. So good question about what time. And virtually what we're going to ask people to do is just to get into this Facebook page and tell us what you did or where you did it. Because a lot of times, you know me, I'm a picture girl. So I'm normally running around taking pictures of the groups. So show us where you ran or how you did your train that night or that day, just so we can all still hold each other accountable, even though we won't be seeing each other that second time.
Yeah, and it's a great way to continue to share the experience with the other, training participants. Get out there and just kind of post, even if you don't have a picture, if you don't want to take a picture for whatever reason, just tell us where you ran, what you did, how you felt, how it went, that kind of stuff, so we can all kind of cheer on the accomplishment and actually share the experience with each other. I think that's going to be important, and for us on the virtual side of it, we're going to try to do, like, Aaron said, we're going to be sending out videos, and we'll try to touch on some of the things that we would normally talk about in person on Monday nights or on Wednesdays. Typically everybody was on their own Wednesday or Thursday, and we met Mondays and Saturdays. So, those little tidbits that you might get from one of the coaches or stuff we might talk about during the warm up on the Monday nights, we're going to try to cover some of that stuff in the videos that we send out, that'll go out at the beginning of each week, so that you can still kind of have that same experience and get the same thing. And then we'll be able to answer any questions that come in from the previous week as well, and kind of address some of those during the emails that'll go out.
All right. And then we've got several questions sort of asking about is there anything to train for? So is this training challenge gearing up for anything at the end of the 10 weeks? And I'm just going to let Patrick handle that question, if you don't mind.
Well, there will be something to train for. What capacity that's going to take right now is going to be coming out soon. We can't really say anything until there's an official statement that comes out from the city. But in terms of, I'm sure that there's other events and things, if you're wanting to train for anything in particular. I think that the main thing about this program is that it's a great way to kind of stay in shape, stay accountable as it starts to get colder, the days start getting shorter. Granted, I'm with you guys. I want something to be able to train for and a goal at the end of the rainbow, and there will be something. Again, what form that's going to take will be out shortly, but there will be something to train for. I think everybody's going to enjoy it, and just have something to hang your hat on for the end of the 10 weeks.
Yeah. Well, and I guess all we can say is we appreciate your patience while we're going through this. Anybody who's in these decision making positions on how to make it work and make everything go through, it's not easy, even on the smaller scale with the training challenge. So just we promise there's something that's the thing is a time frame where we need to start our 10 weeks, and Troy and all the other towns around Cohoes and Del Mar, they're all making their decisions. So our training challenge is starting. It's 10 weeks. It's going to start tomorrow with the first one in September. We know at the end of the game, we're going to be running on Thanksgiving, wherever it may be from. And just stay tuned, and thank you for your patience while we're just waiting for all of the processes to go through to make sure we can make that statement in the correct way. So one thing another question I want to talk about is when you are registering, and so how to figure out which training guideline to follow through the email. So we have 3 levels. The 3 levels are basically dependent on how advanced of a runner you are. So level 1 is someone who might be trying to do more of like the Couch to 5K program, or a run, walk, power walk, which is new this year. So if you're thinking more of just trying to make sure you can complete a 5K in at whatever capacity that is, we have a coach just for you. Her name is Joanne, and keep your eyes out. We're going to be doing a meet the coaches in a couple days here with some videos so you can see who might be your coach. So that's going to be level 1. So anybody who might have not done anything through the whole year, that's fine. I can't say I've been doing much. I've been trying, but we want to make sure that don't feel like you are too much out of shape, or that you haven't been running since last Thanksgiving. You're not alone. I can't tell many people just run the turkey trot every year. They do it with their friends. They come home and they just do it. So this training, the level 1 is for people who might feel like they want something to start working towards, and they'll have a team behind them, 2 coaches behind them. And maybe when it gets a little harder, where we used to start jogging for 20 minutes straight around week 5, there's going to be a new group to where we can do a walk jog or a power walk to sort of still get to that finish line. Level 2 is basically anybody who has already completed a 5K and would like to improve their time in the 5K. So they've been a past participant. They are pretty good at trying to increase their speed. Maybe they're even thinking about getting it to a 10K, but they aren't sure if they could. We have an awesome coach who is coming back, Jill, and also a new coach, Caitlin, who we will introduce you to, who is helping with that group. That's basically if you're not necessarily a full 10K runner at that time, but maybe you'd like to be. And our coaches are trained to move people up or down, and that's okay, depending on where you are throughout the training. If you're doing really well, and then you can sort of move up to group level 3, which is Patrick's bread and butter. And so Patrick and Caitlin will also be running that group, where you are trying to definitely either get your best time in your 5K or progress your 10K, and really trying to make sure, those are a little bit more of the advanced runners. They start out with higher mileage. So if you have any questions about which one you should try, maybe start with the lower one and see if that's too easy for you. Then you can know the next week you would do sort of the next level up.
Right. Or just shoot us an email or a Facebook question, and we might ask a little bit more information about kind of how much you're running or walking now, how many days a week, and then we'll help guide you into the right group.
And a lot of times we also say, what was your time finish? So if you had done the turkey trot last year and you finished at 25 minutes, that will tell us a lot to which group you should be going into. Or if you, passed over at 38 minutes, that gives us some direction of which level you should be sort of looking at in the beginning phases. They're all a little bit, easier, and they sort of build on each other. So, and then it's very, common for around week 7 or 8. Some people who might have been in 2 actually go to 1, or other runners who have been in 1, they're at 2 sort of earlier on. So it's okay to jump up and down. We actually like that. So let's see. We got where it's going to be. It's down at Knickerbacker Park. We definitely know there's going to be something super exciting. I can't wait for the releases for what we're going to be training for. The CDC guidelines is obviously wearing your mask. We're going to put all the tips out there about hydration and proper nutrition, and making sure you're coming in good health before you even start training. We will have 2 physical therapists, myself being one of them, and one other coach for any of those sprain, strain, inflammation sort of questions that we get throughout the year, shin splints, hamstrings. experience. So the dynamic warm up will be built in like it has been for the past every year, but each year we're going to make sure we're doing that as well for about 10 minutes beforehand. We ask everybody to arrive at 7:50 so that we're at least stretching by 7:55, so we're out running by 8:05 after we've gone through our full body warm up. So other than that, I feel like that's all the questions I had. Patrick, can you think of anything else that we've talked about or that we've missed?
I can't really think of anything in particular that typically comes up. I think you covered the majority of those. I think a lot of people might just want to know about, maybe how much to drink or eat or any of that kind of stuff before going out to run. And we can address a lot of those as we go along. But, I typically I need to stop eating or drinking probably an hour before I do any kind of physical activity myself, just because I have a fairly sensitive stomach. So I have to kind of watch my intake and those kind of things. But other than that, I can't really think of much. Keep an eye on the weather. The good thing about again this whole virtual idea of the training challenge is that you can watch the weather and pick that time of day when you want to go and actually get your run in. And make sure you're running either with somebody or that people know where you are. Try not to run with headphones. Unless you have the ones where you can hear what's going on, or run with one bud out, so that you can run, and understand if there's traffic coming or anything like that. There's a lot of people out, because there was nobody driving around for a long time. People got used to driving really fast and not having any traffic. And now that there's more traffic, things are just a little congested. And every time I've gone out of the house now, it's kind of like, whoa, where did these people learn how to drive? So just be careful out there. If you have to run on roads where there's traffic, just really pay attention and don't assume that the drivers are going to see you. Make sure that you're running against traffic, and just be careful as you're running. And also, if you're running somewhere where you don't usually run, try to make sure that you're with other people. Just kind of pay attention to your surroundings.
Yeah, I know personally, I used to always tell Joe, okay, I'm going to do the Brunswick Beach Loop. Just let a family member know, or a friend or whomever, what your route's going to be. So that's always something that I would do during my sort of day runs. Because when I get out there, I just start taking whichever street I want. But it's a great tip. So because during, that we're expecting that everyone's running 2 days outside of our Saturday to really get up to that full distance that we're looking for. So, and we'll know Saturday mornings, we'll know who was it running or not. I mean, we won't really, but we'll try. Last piece here is just, we want to explain, the reason why we're doing this again is to give somebody a healthy option to not only get back to, feeling better for themselves, moving well, knowing that maybe it's been some time and you were waiting for something new to do. It's a great group. We love doing it. I know personally for the past 4 years, it's something that I enjoy each morning, and sort of being able to talk to different runners and seeing everybody at the end and taking our sort of end of the year, once we're all done, taking everybody out and just sort of giving everybody congratulations. So it's a healthy, sort of safe environment outdoors. It's always been outdoors. So we're looking forward to having everybody come back again this year. And really just thanks for hanging in there and being patient, as it's sort of last hour here, with it starting tomorrow. But I put the register link down at the bottom. You can see it. It's the runsignup.com with Race New York, Troy, Tricky Trot's also in the Facebook page. So you can just click that link there. And it's the same it has been in the past. And I did change the location to that Knickerbacker Park or rink with where the address is.
Excellent.
That's all for now. So we're looking forward to, you should be getting an email if you have registered tonight. So it'll go out to everybody, all the participants who have registered for the first week, because registration ends on September 30th. So what is it? It's 10 days from now. So if you're still on the fence, you will get the run information through the Facebook page, but you will not get the emails until you sort of register. And then after that, sort of after September 30th, we can't accept any more participants, just to figure out numbers and coaching, and how we're going to sort of staff those. In the past, we've needed 2 coaches for certain groups, so we're just trying to keep an eye on how many people want to join. But we want everybody to join. We'll get more coaches if we need to. So it's just something that we're really excited for. Hopefully you are too. If you have any questions, let us know. Otherwise, yeah, those who have already registered, you'll get a email from me tonight about tomorrow's run, and then we'll start posting the videos tomorrow for the first training run that we have.
And I just want to say thank you, Erin, for agreeing to take this on again and making it happen. I know that you're extremely busy and you have a lot going on, but really appreciate Erin kind of spearheading this thing again. And Erin brings a lot to the table and has improved the program from where we kind of started it, and really appreciate that. So thank you for that.
Thank you, Patrick. That's very nice.
And I look forward to seeing
it.
you on Saturday.
Yes, great. All right. Well, everybody have a great night. Bills won. The Washington football team, are they winning or did they win?
Don't know
We don't
yet.
know. I've had Patrick tied up, so I'm sorry about that. Hope everybody's having a good night. We'll see you in next Saturday. Other than that, we'll start posting some things. So thank you guys for joining. We appreciate it.
Great. Thank you.
Bye-bye.